Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Rose here. Today, I'm doing a special standalone video about Foodie Beauty and her thinly veiled adult content that she's posting on her channel. For those who do not know, I am not just someone that I have my YouTube channel, but I'm also a cam model. I work on a few different campsites. That's what I do, just how I pay my bills. And because I have that background of being in the adult industry, when I watch Foodie Beauty, I see things that perhaps other people don't see and don't notice. And I've watched Foodie Beauty for quite a while doing what I consider to be adult content on a non-adult content forum. So I would like to do this video to give everybody the understanding of what Foodie Beauty is doing on her channel and why I feel it is most inappropriate and YouTube really shouldn't allow it. So let's go back in history for a moment. At the start of the Foodie Beauty channel, the content that she was doing. At the very start of her channel, Foodie was doing all kinds of content. She did makeup hauls, she did shopping trips, she showed herself out and about, she did video game playthroughs. She gave a big variety of content. Maybe because in the beginning she didn't know quite what to do for YouTube or how to attract a crowd. And then when she started doing mukbangs, that's when everything really took off for her. She got more of an audience and she got more views. Foodie took notice of that and she started to focus entirely on the mukbang content. That was right about the time that I came to know of Foodie, was when she was still doing the mukbang content. As someone that I have dealt with a problem with food and binge eating, watching Foodie, it was very disturbing because in my opinion, she was someone that she was a binge eater, and rather than deal with her eating problem and get therapy and help, she was actually taking it and monetizing it and making it profitable. To make matters worse, the more I kept watching her, the more I started noticing that she was catering to the feeder fetish people. It wasn't just about her getting on camera and eating a big meal. She was actively catering to the feeder fetish people. And I noticed so many different things she was doing to cater to the feeder fetish people. Things such as one of her viewers sent her a wooden spoon and a fork because they wanted her to eat with those things because they couldn't stand the sound of the metal hitting the plate. Other things of note, when she would sit and let the food dribble down her face, that's part of the feeder fetish. The eyes rolling in the back of the head and the moaning and the groaning, feeder fetish. The burping, feeder fetish. Being sloppy with the eating, shoving the food in, feeder fetish. I mean, just so many things she was doing. And that was just the beginning part of her channel. And a lot has happened since then. A lot. Her behavior over time has certainly changed. Her attitude has certainly changed. She started off in a place where she cared about her appearance. She no longer cares about how she looks. And where are we now? Where are we now compared to where we were? Where we were was a woman who was catering only to the feeder fetish people. And now it would seem Foodie is literally going out of her way to cater to as many different fetish groups as possible, all in a bid to make as much money as possible because Foodie spends more than she makes. So I would like to show you guys what she's doing in her live stream right now. So let me just share the screen for you. Okay. So we're going to come back to this in a minute. Okay. So this is Foodie's stream right now. It's in progress. You can see the chat is still going. Foodie has come on camera today in just a sports bra and a pair of pants that she's worn for the last few days. This is something that's becoming very frequent with Foodie. Coming on camera barely dressed, either in, say, a bra, in pants, or a short dress with no underwear. Is she doing it to be gross? Perhaps. But for those who are not aware, part of the feeder fetish, the thing that the feeder fetish people like, is seeing that if you are indeed a feedee, which she is, they want to see how big you're getting. So they want to see as much of your body as possible. In the past, we've seen Foodie come on camera dressed in lingerie that was practically see-through. But she's making a point these days to come on camera barely dressed. So Foodie just can't stop showing herself on camera. She's dressed very inappropriately for YouTube. And she's not dressed in the sports bra and the pants because she's overheated. She's doing it to cater to the feeder fetish people. My opinion. And she stays undressed for pretty much all of this stream. Other things of note in this stream that I've noticed, she is not just catering to the feeder fetish crowd by wearing the too tight clothing repeatedly, which, by the way, that's another thing with the feeders. They like to see you in too tight clothing. Anybody remember those torrid hauls that Foodie did repeatedly? I noticed right away that when she did them, that all of the items except for one would be the incorrect size. Like she would hold up quite a few items that say were 2X, and then the last item, which would actually fit, like say a dress, would be a 5X. And that made me wonder, why is she buying everything in the incorrect size except for one thing? Well, there's only one explanation for that, because she's purposely buying the too tight clothes in order to perhaps do private requests for the feeders, perhaps doing private content for them or sending pictures. And the feeders certainly do like it when they see you in clothing that's entirely too small or too tight. I would also like to tell you some other things that the feeders like as well. So let's start with the most obvious. Eating large, copious amounts of food repeatedly. That's a no-brainer. You know, feeders, they like to see you get fed. They like to see you eat. The more, the merrier. Then, of course, there's the sloppy eating, the burping, the farting. There are two types of feeders. You have the gainers, and then you have the immobilizers. Gainers are feeders that they want to see you get as big as possible. Immobilizers are people that they take it to a much darker extreme. They want to see you get so big that you literally can't move or you can barely move. Immobilizers, they want to watch you die. So Foodie is catering to both sets of feeders. She's catering to those that want to see her gain weight. She's doing so by gaining weight and eating lots of food. And she's also doing things to cater to the immobilizers, such as things that you wouldn't even think would cater to the feeder fetish. Things like all those moments when she walks up the set of stairs and she sits down and she's huffing and puffing. That kind of caters to the immobilizers because it shows that you're having trouble just moving a short distance. As far as the huffing and puffing on the stairs, I halfway call BS on that. Just fine. So how is it that you're walking around Cuba just fine, but yet walking up a set of stairs and you're out of breath? I sense some fakery there for the sake of the camera. Also, something else that kind of ties into the feeder, gainer, immobilizer fetish, when she gets in her car or she sits in the computer chair or even the gaming chair, she plops herself down really, really hard, like she has to squeeze herself into the seat. The feeders like that. The immobilizers and the gainers like that because that shows you're getting so big you can barely fit into your seat. You literally can't fit, so you have to make yourself fit. The feeders also, some of them like to see you have trouble breathing because, again, that points to weight gain. Uh, Being dirty. The immobilizers like that because that means you're losing the ability to take care of yourself. So her having a dirty house, being filthy, that might tie into the immobilizer feeders. The fact that you're so big that you're losing the ability to do simple tasks like clean your house and wash your clothes and do your dishes. Remember all those streams that she's already done where she sits down just to cut vegetables, or she has to sit down to wash the dishes, or actually taking her stomach and putting it on the counter? That's all for the feeders, y'all. That's all for the feeders. At every given opportunity during her stream, whenever she can, Foodie is catering to those people. Chewing with her mouth open, that's a feeder thing. Eating multiple times in one sitting, feeder thing. Feeders like to see if you've got a big belly, they want to see the belly. They may want to see you jiggle your belly or move your belly. They want to see you get as big as possible. Another characteristic of the feeder fetish, being full or bloated or saying that you are, because that indicates you've eaten a lot. They love that. Absolutely love that. Something interesting about different fetishes, whether it's feeder or not. Sometimes, especially with like feeder fetish people, if somebody has a feeder fetish and you're someone that you are a feedie, which Chantal is, sometimes those feeders, if they have enough money and if they feel inclined to do so, they might send the feedee a weekly or monthly allowance to do or say or eat something. Now, in that regard, Foodie has shown evidence that she may have some people doing that to her already, because she has said in her streams that people are at least buying her food. There was one stream she did with the lakmas. She called somebody the lakma fairy. When she got the paneer that she ate for 2 weeks, she said that somebody paid for the paneer. She's also mentioned that people are buying her clothes. This didn't happen years ago. This happened more recently. She said that people are buying her clothes. So if people are buying her food and if people are buying her clothes, it's not really a stretch to imagine that she's getting money privately off YouTube to cater to certain fetishes during her live streams. I myself, I have seen evidence in the past many times over of Foodie doing feeder requests on camera. Foodie is a creature of habit. She'll find one food and she'll fixate on it, and that's all she'll eat. So if you see Foodie eat something weird that's not her norm, it's probably a feeder request. On top of her doing the feeder requests, I'm doing them, I do remember one live stream that she did in particular where she got 3 huge ice cream sandwiches and it looked like a milkshake, and she ate as much as she could. And then she laid down for a few minutes and then she got back up and kept eating. Guaranteed that was a feeder request. And I knew what she was doing by the laying down, by the way. That's something that sometimes binge eaters do. You eat until you're full, then you lay down for a few minutes to give your stomach a chance to digest or settle, to get just enough space to put more food in, and then you get back up and you eat. So yeah, Foodie, I saw you all the way over here doing that. And I recognized it. You know, takes one to know one. I used to be a binge eater, so I know the tricks. So Foodie doing the feeder fetish content on camera, hardcore. And it's only getting worse. It's only getting worse. On top of catering to the feeder fetish people, she's actively searching out other fetish groups. Her newest one is the fart fetish people. And yes, that's actually a thing. There are people that get into other people passing gas. Exhibit A. So here's what I find interesting about these 3 videos. So Foodie, when she first made her OnlyFans, she canceled it within a couple of days because she said, her words, there are a bunch of creeps and weirdos sending her messages and requests to show her nipples and to fart on camera. But yet she's showing us her nipples for free on YouTube, and she farts for free on YouTube. So why would that bother her? But that was the reason she said she canceled her OnlyFans. So make it make sense, Foodie. It bothers you to do those things on OnlyFans, but not for free on YouTube. And now here you are. You're doing the fart fetish thing on YouTube. You got 3 shorts showing yourself farting because of eggs. Not only that, but let's go over here. There we go. This looks like it came from OnlyFans. She posted, I found my purpose in life. Before you judge me, there's so many people out there who enjoy the musical wind arts. Question, how would you know that there's a lot of people that get into that, Foodie? Have you been researching that fetish? Are you researching it for the purpose of making money off of it? Because it would seem so. Now, ma'am, you are very money motivated. Very money motivated. Money is a good motivator for you. When it comes to money, you'll do anything for money. So you started off in a place when you were doing mukbangs that you were catering to the feeder crowd. And now because you've got Natter and Dee and Peace and your chemical habits to support, you are literally scrambling to attract as many fetish people as possible because in your mind, those are the ones with money. Let's attract all these different fetish niches to my channel and cater to them. When she's on her YouTube channel, y'all, she's not catering to the regular crowd of people. She strictly wants the fetish people to come to her channel, to subscribe to her, and send her the big money. Those of you that are just ordinary, regular folk, she don't care about you. It's not enough if you give her a view, or even if you're a VIB. She's trying to turn her channel into a multi-fetish channel. In essence, she's trying to do thinly veiled adult content on YouTube. Because if she went on, say, OnlyFans and did this stuff, or a campsite and did this stuff, she would be up against competition. Because there would be other people on that forum doing that same kind of content. And whether it's a campsite or OnlyFans, you have to put in the work. You got to put in the work doing quality content. You have to put in the work with advertising yourself, marketing yourself some other way. Foodie is not about that working life. She's about being lazy. So she's taking a very incorrect route of going on a non-adult forum and doing thinly veiled adult content for the purpose of making money. As someone that I'm in the adult industry, I have a big problem with what she's doing because people on YouTube, they are not on YouTube to see this stuff. If they want to see this stuff, they can go on adult forum and see it. And then once they click on something, they know exactly what they're going to see and they can consent to it. People on YouTube that come to YouTube, they're not consenting to this. They're not consenting to this. They're not consenting to it. They just want to come on YouTube and see regular content. You know, going on YouTube, talking to Foodie, spending time with Foodie, doing ordinary stuff. This is not the place for adult content. There are other forums for it. And yet Foodie is trying to be sneaky and sneak adult type content onto YouTube and get away with it. And YouTube is letting her get away with it. So if you're someone and you're coming to Foodie's channel, or you're watching her content through, say, a reaction channel, and you're looking at her content and it's driving you insane, and you're asking yourselves, how can a person live this way? How can they be so dirty and filthy, and the farting and the burping and the acting gross and the fruit flies and the maggots and the bed bugs? And if you're trying to wrap your head around what you're watching, it just makes sense to look at this from the perspective of this person, Foodie Beauty, is doing adult content on YouTube and getting away with it. It just makes sense that what you're looking at is not regular YouTube approved content. It is adult content of somebody doing campsite stuff on a non-campsite forum. Going after and running around looking for different fetish groups that she can pull in to her channel and cater to them. And by doing it on YouTube, she doesn't have any competition like she would with, say, a campsite or OnlyFans or an adult forum. There aren't a bazillion models doing the same thing she's doing. She's found a forum where she can do it, and there's not a bazillion people doing the exact same thing. I feel terrible. Excuse me for a second. I feel awful that those who watch Foodie Beauty, that all of you are being subjected to this thinly veiled adult content, and you don't even realize it. You know, your eyes, your ears are being assaulted by this thinly veiled content, this fetish content that you want nothing to do with, that you did not sign up for. And yet Foodie keeps talking about it and putting it in your face. Aside from her catering to all the fetishes that she does for the sake of making money, I also feel that Foodie is using her channel to also fulfill her fetishes as well. Foodie, in my opinion, has a huge, huge humiliation, degradation fetish. And people who like to be humiliated, oftentimes they want an audience. The more the merrier, because that's more people that can humiliate and degrade them. I think she purposely does things on her channel just to make people say things that are humiliating. I think she really, really loves it. She also has the fetish of being a flasher. Foodie is an exhibitionist. Certainly, we can all agree to that because she comes on camera barely dressed or doing something like showing off her her punani, showing off her tatas. She giggles like it's an accident, but trust me, it's no accident. She gets off on being a flasher, on being an exhibitionist. Again, these are things that are adult in nature and need to be on adult forum. But Foodie wants as big of an audience as possible. If she went on a campsite or on OnlyFans, her audience would be limited. So she wants the biggest possible audience. And what better way to do that than on a free forum like YouTube? She also has, in my opinion, other fetishes, like a fetish for, how can I say this politely? Poop. She's got a fetish for poop. That's the most polite way to say it. She's got a preoccupation with telling us about going to the bathroom, her bowel movements. And I've seen many live streams where she acts like she's about to go number two. She'll sit in her chair and she won't run to the bathroom immediately. She'll literally sit and mess her pants. She'll do that with a smile on her face and then giggle as she goes to the bathroom. Any other person would be horrified to mess their pants, but she will literally sit and do it in front of everybody. That plays into, say, perhaps a poop fetish or a humiliation degradation fetish. I mean, there's so many different things all wrapped up together. So when you look at Foodie's channel, it's not just about some chick getting on YouTube and eating a bunch of food. You're looking at somebody that in a roundabout way has made a fetish channel on YouTube for herself and for other people, catering to her own fetishes as well as the fetishes of other people for the sake of making money off of as many different fetish groups as humanly possible. The crazy thing is she's running around chasing the money and trying to pull in as many different fetish groups as possible. But yet, despite all of her efforts, she's no better off. She's not rolling in the dough. She doesn't have a nice car. She doesn't own her own home. She's thousands of dollars in debt with the government. She lives paycheck to paycheck, and even then, she'll be broke 2 weeks before payday. All the work to cater to all these different people, and there's nothing to show for it. She doesn't even have a clean bill of health. She's ruining her health and her life for the sake of money. And she's treading in water. She's running in place. She's getting nowhere except making her life worse. But that's entirely her choice. That's entirely her choice. Nobody can tell her to live any different. But I'm making this video to just give some understanding. If you're someone watching Foodie, what you're looking at. You're not looking at an ordinary channel on YouTube of someone who just wants to sit down and have a meal. There are channels like that, like say Hungry Fat Chick. She has a channel where she eats her food. She doesn't bring the drama. None of the reactors talk about her because she's being upfront with what she's doing and she doesn't stress anybody out. But Foodie, the eating of the food, that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot of darker stuff going along with that. There's a lot of things going on beside that. Her content is just fetish content of different kinds. Her messy house, that's catering to a certain fetish group. The eating of the food and the farting and the burping, those are fetish groups by themselves. There are people that have a fetish for burping. I mean, everything she does is money related. It's fetish related. And in her world, fetish equals money. So when you're watching Foodie, and if you're going crazy, saying, why does she live this way? Why does she do these things? It's about money. Foodie is doing adult content on YouTube. Thinly veiled adult content. And YouTube is letting her get away with it. flashing herself, running around half naked, farting, burping, all of it, fetish related, all of it, all of it. So I hope that this video has given more of an understanding of Foodie Beauty. I hope that when you look at Foodie, you now understand what you're looking at. That she's just being greedy and she's chasing the money. And she's trying to attract or hold on to as many fetish groups as possible. And I feel she's doing that because she found one fetish group, the feeders, and she's done well with those people. Now she's trying to pull in other groups. Now she's trying to pull in the fart fetish people, the burping people. I don't know how well they pay, but she's putting that content on YouTube, which kind of confuses me. You're doing it for free on YouTube. Why are they going to pay you for it? You're giving it away for free, but things that Foodie does doesn't make sense. Anyway, I hope that this video has found you well. I hope that this slightly adult conversation hasn't turned you off. Again, I did it for the purpose of understanding because we're all going crazy just trying to figure Foodie out. And her behaviors just don't make sense. And anyone who might be a VIB or a viewer of Foodie, that you're trying to hold on to some hope that she's going to wake up one day and be a better person. I'm going to save you the trouble and give you the truth because Foodie will never give it to you. She will never get better. She will never be a different person. She will never stop chasing the money because she lives beyond her means, way beyond. And that's why she's chasing the money so hard. She's got herself and Pete's and Natter and Dee Dee to support. She spends more than she makes. And her eyes are fixated on the fetish groups and catering to them. If you're just an ordinary viewer, you don't matter to Foodie because that's not where the big money is. The big money is where the fetish people are. And so she's trying to configure her channel to be a fetish channel with nothing but fetish people who will A, send her the big money, and B, those fetish people, whatever she does, whether it's gross or excessive, they will not speak up in opposition. They will actually be in agreement with her behaviors. She doesn't just want a hug box, y'all. She wants a hug box of the fetish people that will say yes to everything. The ordinary person is going to oppose some of the things she's doing. But a feeder fetish person, seeing her eat a bunch of food, they're going to be on board with that. Or a fart fetish person, if she farts on camera, they're going to be on board with that. An ordinary person would go, ew, that's gross. She doesn't want to hear that. She wants a hug box of fetish people that pay well, that will not oppose anything excessive that she does, and they will actually encourage it and pay for it. So, Foodie's channel, she is working overtime to attract all kinds of fetish people. She's doing this thinly veiled adult content on YouTube. Ordinary, regular people won't recognize it as that. And I'm putting it out there so that everybody knows exactly what they're looking at. So that you're not going crazy in your head saying, this makes no sense. This woman is maddening. I don't understand. I'm doing this so you will understand. I'm doing it so you will finally understand and get it. Foodie is all about making that money, and she's going to do whatever she needs to do, no matter how excessive, no matter how gross, no matter how vulgar, no matter how offensive, to make that money. Because no matter how much she makes, it's not enough. You can give her $1 million, it still wouldn't be enough. She'd spend it all. So she's just running around trying to find ways to attract different kinds of people that might have the money. So I hope all of you enjoyed this video, that you come away with a better, deeper understanding of Foodie Beauty. And I hope that today finds you well. So thank you very much for watching, and please have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.